In a world where freedom is celebrated, how free are we really? Today, many of us walk through life believing we have full autonomy over our choices, our actions, and our future. But could it be that this belief is a carefully constructed illusion? What if the invisible chains of distraction, pleasure, and convenience have already enslaved us, making us prisoners in a cage we cannot even see? Nearly 200 years ago, the poet Goethe wrote, "There is no one more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free." This timeless quote serves as the foundation for a chilling realization. Freedom, as we know it, may not be as pure as it seems. We may not live in the overtly oppressive world described in Orwell's 1984, but we are not entirely free either. Instead, we may find ourselves in the dystopia of Huxley's Brave New World, where people are sedated by pleasure, drowning in distractions that keep them oblivious to their servitude. If you're ready to question everything, to see beyond the surface, then this video is for you. Stick around, and if you find value in these revelations, hit the like button and subscribe to join us on this journey of uncovering the truth. Let's break free from the illusion together. The worst kind of prison is the one you cannot see. It is the kind of imprisonment that deceives you into thinking you're free, convincing you that your chains are nothing more than harmless adornments. Our modern world is no different. We live in an age where the idea of freedom is worshipped, but very few dare to ask, are we truly free, or are we merely convinced that we are? This is the illusion of freedom, a comforting lie whispered to us from birth, ensuring that we never question the bars that surround us. What if the real prison isn't built with walls, but with the comforts and distractions of modern life? We believe we're liberated because we have access to endless entertainment, boundless information, and constant stimulation. Yet, all of this serves a greater purpose, not to free us, but to keep us docile and blind. Those who control the flow of these distractions hold the true power, and they know that as long as we are entertained, as long as we are pacified by pleasure, we will not revolt. We will not even notice the invisible chains that bind us. The illusion runs deep. It is no coincidence that many of us fear losing the very things that distract us: our technology, our entertainment, our conveniences, because these are the tools that bind us. The world outside our screens may offer more authentic freedom, but it's a world few of us ever dare to explore. Like prisoners who've grown accustomed to their cells, we cling to the comforts of our modern cage, convinced that this is the only life worth living. Freedom, in this sense, has become a fantasy, something sold to us, something defined by those in power. The truth is much darker. The illusion of freedom keeps us compliant, and as long as we feel free, we will never seek to escape. This deception is not new. History is full of moments where societies have been controlled, not by force, but by the manipulation of belief. When people believe they are free, they are easier to govern, easier to control. And so, the illusion is crafted to be as seamless as possible, making it harder and harder to distinguish between reality and the world we've been led to accept. To explore the illusion of freedom is to step into the unknown. It is to question everything you've been taught, to peel back the layers of deception that have been carefully placed around you. The deeper you go, the more unsettling the truth becomes. But for those willing to walk this path, a new kind of freedom awaits, one that requires no validation from the world we know, but rather a deeper understanding of the world that lies just beneath the surface. When we think of dystopia, our minds often jump to Orwell's 1984, a world where control is enforced through fear, surveillance, and brutal oppression. But what if the real threat isn't the cold, harsh totalitarianism of Orwell's nightmare, but the soft, seductive tyranny of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World? In Huxley's vision, society isn't governed by fear, but by pleasure, distraction, and comfort. The people are controlled, not through force, but by their own desires. They are given everything they could ever want, so much, in fact, that they never realize how much they've lost. In 1984, the ruling power asserts control through the crushing weight of oppression. In Brave New World, that power is subtle, almost invisible, because it works through indulgence. The masses are placated by endless entertainment, by shallow pleasures, by the feeling that they are always satisfied. They are encouraged to consume, to indulge, to escape, all under the guise of freedom. But what kind of freedom is it when the choices we make are so carefully crafted to keep us content, never hungry enough to seek anything more? Huxley's dystopia offers the illusion of choice, but no real freedom. Huxley once saw his world as a distant possibility, a mere thought experiment. But as the decades passed and technology advanced, he grew uneasy. By 1961, he saw the early signs of his vision emerging, warning that future rulers might not need to control the population through fear when they could simply drown them in distractions. If people are constantly entertained, always seeking the next hit of pleasure or novelty, they won't notice how far they've strayed from true freedom. And perhaps, even more terrifying, they won't care. This comparison between 1984 and Brave New World isn't just a clash of dystopian fiction. It's a lens through which we can examine our own society. Are we truly free, or are we just so sedated by the endless barrage of pleasures that we no longer recognize our captivity? While Orwell's world might seem distant, Huxley's vision feels disturbingly close. It is a world where people love their servitude, and that love, that dependency on distractions, is perhaps the most powerful chain of all. Pleasure has long been considered a gift, a way to enjoy life and connect with the world around us. But what if pleasure is also the key to our enslavement? In the modern age, pleasures are abundant. Technology, entertainment, social media, drugs, pornography, and countless other distractions are at our fingertips, offering us constant gratification. Yet, beneath the surface of this never-ending pursuit of pleasure lies a darker truth. These distractions may not just be fleeting escapes from reality, but carefully designed tools of control. In Brave New World, Huxley showed us a society where pleasure is weaponized. The masses are given everything they need to feel content. But this contentment is shallow and fleeting, designed to keep them from questioning the deeper meaning of their lives. Today, we see echoes of this in the endless stream of entertainment, social media, and consumer culture. We are always engaged, always stimulated, but rarely do we stop to ask ourselves if any of it truly matters. The pleasures we chase might be numbing us, keeping us from seeing the invisible bars of the cage that surrounds us. The more we indulge in these distractions, the more we lose sight of the chains that bind us. Pleasure becomes a pacifier, lulling us into a state of passive acceptance. As long as we are entertained, we do not resist. As long as we are satisfied, we do not question. The ruling forces of society understand this well. They don't need to enforce control through violence or fear when they can simply provide us with an endless supply of distractions. And so, we are kept comfortable, docile, and unaware of the freedoms we have surrendered in exchange for fleeting moments of pleasure. This is the ultimate irony. The very things we believe make us free are the things that enslave us. Our gadgets, our entertainments, our addictions. They create the illusion of choice and happiness, but they are the bars of our prison. To see through this illusion requires a radical shift in perspective, a willingness to step away from the comforts that have come to define modern life. It is not easy to confront the ways in which we have become dependent on these pleasures, but it is the first step toward reclaiming our freedom. To understand how deeply we are controlled, we must first understand the mechanisms behind that control. One of the most chilling concepts that explains how this works is B.F. Skinner's theory of operant conditioning. Skinner, a Harvard psychologist, conducted experiments on rats, teaching them to modify their behavior through a system of rewards and punishments. What he discovered was simple yet profound. Behavior can be shaped and controlled when individuals are conditioned to associate certain actions with pleasure or pain. The frightening part is that this method isn't just for rats. It can be applied to humans as well. In today's world, operant conditioning is alive and well, though its presence is hidden beneath layers of technology and entertainment. Every notification on your phone, every like on social media, every moment of instant gratification has been designed to condition your behavior. These small bursts of pleasure reinforce the actions that keep you locked into the system. Just like Skinner's rats, we are trained to seek out these rewards, to keep coming back for more, all while unknowingly surrendering more of our freedom. The beauty and the danger of operant conditioning lies in its subtlety. When people are controlled through force, they are aware of their oppression and may resist. But when they are controlled through pleasure, they come to love their servitude. The constant reinforcement of pleasurable distractions shapes our behavior, ensuring that we remain docile, entertained, and above all, compliant. The powers that be understand that a content population will not revolt. They won't even notice that they have nothing to revolt against. This is the final piece of the puzzle. We are not just distracted, we are conditioned. Every time we indulge in these distractions, we reinforce the chains that bind us, willingly participating in our own captivity. The deeper we fall into this system of behavior modification, the harder it becomes to break free. But breaking free is possible. It starts with awareness, with the courage to recognize that the pleasures we chase may not be as harmless as they seem. To reclaim our freedom, we must first unlearn the conditioning that has been placed upon us. Only then can we begin to see the world and ourselves clearly.